Hey, what's going on, CoinOpTV subscribers? Robert Welkner here. Let's talk about For All Mankind, Episode 10, the finale of Season 1, which is called A City Upon a Hill. So first of all, let me just say that in the beginning of For All Mankind, I was not really into the show at all. Too many characters, too much story, too much plot, too much archival video footage of the presidents, too much leaping around in time and just time jumps that I didn't appreciate. But so that was like the first half of the series, and then the second half of the series, it really slowed down. We got into the heart and the meat of things, and really got interesting. I was just like, oh my gosh, we got some great actors, we got some great story moments, some great storytelling. Unfortunately, some tragedies there with Ed and Karen's son passing away, and some of these other things, some other characters sort of dying off, but hey, that makes some good dramatic moments and some tension and some storytelling. And I'm happy to say with the finale, episode 10, it was pretty darn good. I liked it. We'll give them an applause. It kind of reminded me of like a lot of shows. A lot of shows basically start off really bumpy in the beginning, and then they kind of get into their groove as they go. And I think when we got to the finish line here, it was pretty enjoyable. There was a few moments that I didn't really appreciate, but overall I was like, all right, I stuck with For All Mankind. Now I'm ready for another season. I want to know what's going to happen, and I'm just wondering if they're going to time jump again into the 80s. Is Reagan going to be president? How things go. I don't like the time jumps at all. I wish they would have like really dragged it out. Like one season could have been like the end of the 60s, the 70s, and then 75 or something, and kind of leading up to the 80s. I feel like they could have really dragged it out, but I don't know. Maybe they wanted to get a little more current with technology or politics or something. I don't know. You'll have to let me know if there's interviews out there with the filmmakers and production. Maybe they kind of talk about this and discuss this. So got a few things in my notes here that I want to talk about. This video should be semi-short there. So the big cliffhanger we left off with last week is we didn't quite know if Ed actually killed the the Russian astronaut there, and then we get to find out that no, he didn't. He just took away his oxygen enough to sort of knock him out, and then he tied him up and he had him as a captive in the Jamestown station there. So we get to the resolution of that. So and then I wrote that it was lucky that the Russian speaks perfect English, so that we can get some nice one-on-one scenes between Mikhail and the Russian Soviet astronaut and Ed. And that was all great. I mean, hey, I know we're just in a little capsule there and it was one-on-one stuff, but it was great to see the dynamics of the Soviet and the Russian perspective, and then Ed and the American perspective and stuff like that. And I feel like this show could have had more of that. I've been kind of saying to some other videos that Ed maybe should have gone, once he was stranded, he should have gone knocking over to the Soviet store with a bottle of brandy, whiskey, and booze, and just said, hey, let's get drunk and let's hash over who's better, Elvis or Frank Sinatra. Let me know in the comments below. Who do you think is better, Elvis or Frank Sinatra? If you watch this episode, you know what I'm talking about. So let's see. So we get to catch up with Ellen and Deke in the Apollo 24. The fallout of Harry, dying, and then Deke is actually like still outside. He's like got shanked from metal piece there, and so Ellen has to kind of reel him in, patch him up. We get to see Ellen's medical training in effect, and Deke, the old man who's struggling to, survive, and Ellen is the fresh new blood that's gonna help him out, right? The show's gotten totally woke with all the heroes of the female characters. I'm just playing around, but you could sort of see there's a little of that here with Margot and Ellen and of course Tracy and stuff like that. But hey, whatever. I'll go if it's well done, it's well written and stuff like that. I'll take it. Give it to us. So Ellen comes clean with Deke in the Apollo 2014 as they're potentially floating off course into space with no end in sight, no rescue mission available or something like that. And Deke does not take kindly to this information. I was actually a little surprised there. I thought Deke would sort of warm up and say like, hey, Ellen, I understand or something like that, but I guess it's supposed to be before men and women and we're understanding or something like that, the time frame. I don't know, but it wasn't the response that I was expecting, and I guess Ellen's gonna have to decide whether or not from this lesson learned that she's gonna keep the information to herself or not, if she sort of survives. And of course Deke does not survive, so that information that she told him goes down, down with the ship. So the Soviet astronaut Mikhail helps Ed, assists him get to the thing they're carrying there to bring it up to Ellen and help them out. And we got like a little bit of a silliness, with the episode there. That was the thing that was a little like, okay, what can we do that's a little silly? I think they just could have sent this little scene back to the writer's room with the, hey, I'm gonna toss it over like a football and you're gonna catch it, something like that. And first of all, the ships are like so far apart. I was like, can we get them a little closer somehow? And he could just kind of push it towards her, only a few feet away and not so far. I don't know the ergonomics of space travel and things like that. You'll have to let me know if that's a thing. You can't get too close or something, but there's a danger. But that scene was a little silly, but hey, it was cool. We got to save Elaine, and she now can come down and hang out with Ed on the planet there and relieve him. So that was great. We got to see some scenes with Ed and Elaine, and it was interesting. I mean, there was a moment there I was like, wow, if Ed decides he's not going to leave, that means that Harry and Deke both died trying to get to him, and he's not going to leave. So I feel like in his head, he was thinking, I better leave. And that's probably what Ellen was thinking too when she sort of tried to believe him. But at the same time, he's still a little like on the nutty side, the crazy side. So I was a little unsure how he was going to go. Of course, he does decide, all right, I'm going to pack it up and leave Ellen. So what's going to happen now? Next season, is Ellen going to be chilling on the moon by herself? Is she going to go knock on the doors to the Soviets and make contact and bring over some Elvis records and to hang or something like that? Will Mikhail make another appearance in season 2 of For All Mankind? I'll be curious to see how that goes. There was a lot of fun moments, a lot of fun beats here, and I think they set it up for a lot of interesting things to follow up in season 2. But I kind of have a fear they're going to time jump and just go to like the 80s and, we're just going to forget all about Ellen on the moon and the Soviets and some of the other things back on Earth. I guess we'll sort of see how things go with that. Also, we got to see some closure with Gordo and Tracy. She comes back. We get the Apollo 25 mission. Kind of, that was kind of quickly done. That we didn't really get to see much of them, but they just come back and they come back into the NASA home base there, and we see them, and we'll also find out, we get to see a little bit of Ed back with Karen on Earth, so we'll sort of see how they cope with the loss of their son. And so we'll see if season 2 all the characters are back. If not, who knows, maybe some will be back, maybe we'll get an introduction of new characters. But overall, enjoyed the finale of For All Mankind. I look forward to your feedback or your comments. And one thing I did like, I had been reading some of the comments, and some of the guys and gals were talking about like how the technology is a little off on the show. But one person was sort of saying, hey, they shouldn't be doing this. But another person said in the comments, well, no, they've kind of forward some of the technology for the push, because the Soviets had made it to the moon first, that the technology had to be ramped up a little faster than normal. I mean, it is a fictional show. We kind of forget about that. But I thought that was kind of interesting, and I thought some of those things could be expanded upon within the show itself, maybe a little more obvious, because that's been a complaint of mine. It still is sort of a complaint, is that they should have just made it an astronaut show, a fictional astronaut show based on what sort of happened in real life, or just a what if, instead of this trying to go for the hook of the Soviets beat us there and we're going to put women on the moon and some of the other stuff, the way they sort of sold in marketing. Just forget all that. For All Mankind is a show about people going into the space on the moon, and there's some silly episodes, but most of them are pretty decent if you stick it through to the end. So thanks so much for watching. That's it for this video. For CoinOpTV, we'll see you next time.